today, almost 2 o'clock, Wednesday. I'm back at my truck after lunch because I want to do some stuff in here. It's still cold, so I got a list what we're gonna do today in this video. And I know I've been uploading a whole bunch of videos recently, but I noticed a tremendous response from viewers, and even though I'm done with all the comments, right? So I don't need comments to see, you know, what people like and what they don't like. And basically you guys vote with views, right? With views and likes. When I see lots of likes or dislikes, and when I see lots of views, that tells me what kind of topics you guys want to see, right? And then I got feedback from my Facebook page, where now I have over 1,000 friends, and that's why I'm doing these videos right now so often. But so this video is going to be about, I'm going to show you the engine compartment. We looked at it briefly when I think it was episode 2, when the truck had the open hood and they were installing the fenders, but I didn't climb on the top. I want to show you the plate, what it looks like, what it says on top of the engine. You cannot see it from the ground. Actually, I already did that this morning because I wanted to take a picture of the engine serial number and register on the Cummins, I think it's called Cummins Engines or CumminsPower.com. And I registered, and now what's cool about these new Cummins is that they come in with this remote diagnostic tool built in. If there's something like with the engine, I get an email. I don't know how they do this, but basically me as a fleet manager, I get an email, and actually even my Kenworth dealer will tell me, let's say if I have some kind of a fault or error, I will know what it is from that email, and I will know if I have to go for repairs right away, or if it's something, you know, minor, and I can wait till I'm, you know, back in, let's say in Canada, if I'm somewhere driving in the States. So it's a really cool diagnostic tool, because, you know, with Mac I always was wondering about this, like, okay, I see a check engine light and I have no idea, like, is it really bad? I have to, you know, park and pray, or is it something that can wait, you know? So now with Kenworth, with the Cummins, I don't need to do that. So thing we're gonna look at, number one is engine compartment. Number two, I still didn't do anything about the rear axle. On the trailer, it's still locked. The drums are frozen or rusted to the brakes. So we're gonna do some interesting hammer swinging shortly to unlock the said rear axle. And number three, I need to grease the binders. I have the spray that unlocking kind of like, you know, grease in a couple of cans. And I look at them, and a lot of them like in a really bad shape because they've been sitting since December 17th, if not earlier. Because on December 17th, there was my last load of counterweights, like a pretty much partial super cheap load from Dallas airport to the airport here in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada, because I could not load that machine, 80,000 pound aircraft tow truck. And so the guy gave me counterweights, and I think I mostly just used straps. So basically my chains and binders have not been used since I delivered that. The last big load was the excavator from that old one, like gear driven, chain driven, you know, 100-year-old excavator that I picked up at Ritchie Brothers in Bolton in early December and took it to Texas. That was the last time when I used a bunch of binders and chains. And so I had a brief look at them this morning, and they look awful. So we're gonna do some greasing. And then I gotta find like getting ready to truck, as I mentioned in yesterday's video, my plate procedure is scheduled only for Monday, March 19th. There's nothing I can do until then. I cannot pick up a load, you know, and they want some fees. I think it was like $250 Canadian and $49 US I have to bring on Monday. And just like before, when I was getting the plate US money, they only take either cash or certified check, but Canadian portion I can pay with a debit card, you know, like my ATM card or Visa. And so I'm getting ready, so I think I'll start trucking Tuesday, you know. And the good news is that some people who will commented on my Facebook page, yeah, they were suggesting I still increase the length of my hydraulic hoses. And yeah, I do think myself that they're a bit short, because even now my fifth wheel, I'm going to show you guys in a second, but my fifth wheel is not all the way back. And when I scaled yesterday, I was almost 14,000 on the front axle empty, and I hardly have any fuel in the truck. So when running empty, you know, in order to avoid tickets, I gotta keep the fifth wheel as far as possible. And for that position, the current hoses are not ideally suited. I think there will be some slack, but not enough for me to make like a wide turn. And the PTO shop who did the original install, as you know, they already changed the hoses once, and so now, you know, I understand, you know, they cannot do it forever for free, right? And like technically it works now, but like I said, if I want to move the fifth wheel all the way to the back, and especially probably in a couple of weeks, I'll have my flip box, the gooseneck extension, which will further raise the hoses. So I do need longer hoses. And so I emailed them this morning. I said, hey Phil, I understand you'll probably charge me for this, but I do think I need to make them longer. Could you please tell me what the charge will be, and if it's reasonable, I'll stop by, you know, like early next week. And the guy says, oh, no problem, we'll do it for free, because we can still use your current hoses. Like, I use them only once to lift the trailer. And so he was very nice about this, and so I really like these guys. This is a transaxle shop in Aberfoyle, Ontario, or Guelph, Ontario. Very nice guys, you know, they do great work, but of course, because they didn't have my trailer, they didn't see, you know, the truck and the trailer. That's why they made a mistake with the hoses length. And so I told them, okay, I'll be there probably Monday after I pick up my new cab card from the IRP office, when everything is set up on the truck, like legally speaking. And I said, I'm gonna come with the trailer, so this way we know for sure. And I'm gonna slide my fifth wheel all the way to the back. And I said, let's do that. And he also suggested replacing the hoses instead of like extending them, because they can do like a small because I think I just need like 2 extra feet, you know, like 60 centimeters. But he says if to extend them, of course they will need to use couplings and fittings, you know. It's much cheaper just to take these off and cut the new ones, put them in, and just replace. Take the old fittings, put on the new hoses, and that's it, and we're done. You know. And so since I'm getting ready to truck next week, I'm just thinking what I will need. And one thing that came to mind was, you know, when I'm setting up my border crossing, I need to print out, let's say, my customs invoice. You know, I need to do my ACE manifest or e-manifest, and so I need to find my printer. And the printer is still somewhere in those boxes, in the crates that I have in the truck. I only unpacked 1 crate, and so search for the printer will be a next topic covered in this blockbuster video. And then the last thing is that I need those stickers. You know, when you start your own company, you are assigned a special code by US Customs and by Canada Customs. And depending on which way you're going, from US to Canada or Canada to US, you have to use this sticker and slap it on your customs invoice. And so I gotta find these. I remember they were in one big envelope somewhere, and again in the crates. And so we're gonna do some more exciting search inside the truck, and you will also get another chance to see inside the the sleeper. All right, so that's gonna be probably, the video is not gonna be as long as it was before, but by the way, I got some envelopes in here. What do I have here? Oh, these are just my trip envelopes, because as before last year I was assigning one envelope to each trip, you know. I think I'll set them probably based on the bill of lading. And that's another thing, I think I'll need to change my bill of lading numbering system again, because my first number I used was the odometer in kilometers on the Mac, you know, and it was 305868. Because, like, how do you come up with the bill of lading number? You don't want to use one, like, then everybody will know you're like a rookie, you just started, right? So I came up with this brilliant idea, just use the odometer, and now it looks like I'm like 1,000 truck fleet, you know. 305868. Pretty much that was see, that's all I did in that Mac in 3 years. Just over 300,000 kilometers, you know, which is nothing. And so this time I'm gonna keep this KENWORTH, I think, much longer. Alright, so first I'm gonna show you guys the engine. So it opens like this. Okay, looks good. Everything is brand spanking new, and Cummins comes in 2 flavors. So as you can see, mine says performance. Now let's see if we can climb up there. All right, my air filter is open like that, and over here, so it says 605 horsepower. There's the VIN number, and that's the VIN plate. 605 horsepower at 1950 RPM. Torque is 2050 pounds per foot at 1150 RPM. And then it also says valve lash, type of ECS, and some other numbers. Governed speed 2000 RPM. Model X15605, date of manufacture February 2018, idle speed 600 to 800. You know, look at this. You know, this is one of those rare occasions, you know, when you see a brand new engine, see all the hoses are, you know, brand new, clean, which actually reminds me, that's another thing I gotta do is, I don't trust these guys, so I gotta tighten, check all the connectors, all these things, and tighten them, you know, because that's how you start losing your torque, you know, just especially these things where the high pressure air flows. That's gonna be my next project. I always like doing that on a new truck. And again, as you can see, I have double gearboxes, right? And yeah, especially this stuff, that's high pressure air, and this and this and that. I'm gonna check everything. And here is the see, that's the lock. After tilting hood, ensure hood lock is engaged to prevent accidental closing. And hood is locked like when that red piece is down, and hood is unlocked like this. Okay, Like on the Mac there was another kind of like the same system, well, similar system, but it was like a flip you had to turn. So this is locked, unlocked, right? So now I can close the hood. And it does come with some springs, so they prevent the hood from slamming down. And this is locked. And this is locked. Cool. Okay, so now let's see what we can do about the yeah, some guy was asking me on Facebook about this toolbox. Actually, it's not a toolbox per se, it's a field box shell case. It's basically for your guns, for ammunition. It's called Protector series, and it's made by Plano, P-L-A-N-O, Plano Outdoor Products. By the way, made in USA. I see it says Plano, and I really love this. You know, I use it as for tools, right? But this is perfect for if you're a fisher or hunter or something like that. Okay, so now I need to find these okay, that's my lock for the fifth wheel. Now what did I do with the... oh, there you go. That's the thing that I need to clean the binders. And also, so I got this at the Canadian Tire here in Canada, and also I love these boots, kind of like the same theme, because these are water resistant and they're super warm. This was like 30 bucks Canadian, you know. So sometimes you can find really good stuff at these, you know, cheap department stores. Okay, and the last thing I need is I need to find a hammer. And I just had yeah, you see, I was trying to unlock the tire yesterday when the ground was soft, and it was doing this. It would not unlock. See all this is rusted as well. And oh, and that's the thing I wanted to show you guys. See, I still have a room in here, so this plate can still go almost a foot in here, so this fifth wheel can be here. And the hoses now look okay, like the hydraulic ones. You see, they're resting like this, so there's slack, but I still want them a bit longer because the gooseneck extension is going to be here, you know. I don't want to rip them off, you know. Like, what do you do if you're somewhere in, on the road and you know, and you always stretch them? That's never good. Okay, so now we need to find a hammer, preferably a big hammer. Oh, there we go. This was easy. Those are my safety boots. I got off. All this was inside another crate. All right, so maybe let's go and try to hammer on the axle first before you guys fall asleep. Okay, I think now it's down. Let's raise it. because this way it's easy for me to check if it's unlocked or not. Because when it's raised, well, it's not. Yeah, I see it was dragging. It's supposed to be up, but I guess my air is low now. Do we have air? Yeah, we have air, but the ground is not very even over here. Anyway, you just need a hammer, and you just need to line the ground next to all the snow. Oh. Still not spinning. Okay, let's try this one. Unlocked. One is done. This one is still frozen. I cannot reach the top. So all it needs is just a tiny crack. back in. I think all I'll do is, since now one is unlocked, I start the truck and I try to move a little bit, so this one is at the bottom. So I'll just move. Yeah, so now I gotta remember that I'll move the wheel, but actually wait a second, it's not turning, so I'm gonna stay like this. But basically I think it's seized at the top in there. See, I cannot get in there. Well, if I cannot do it myself, I'll have to go to a tire shop and get them, probably take the wheels off. Okay, so let's see what we're dealing with here. So this stuff has been here since December. love this stuff. Okay, let's try again with the axle. Yes. So now what I can do is it's down and I'll just move forward a little bit. Just let the friction do the job before it freezes again. Because the only problem is that I'm dirty as a seaman. From a Nova Scotia fleet. But that's one major accomplishment, you know? It was very difficult, but Captain Sergei made it. just in case my butt is all covered in oil. And I still have to hook up my ALD. That one means. Why do I have that little symbol, the fan over? Oh, disappeared. Well, there's probably a warm-up for the intake, but I still like 20%, 25% of fuel. So we're just gonna go forward a little bit, just to see that the tires are spinning. Yep, this side is good. I can see all the tires on the trailer. Yeah, perfect. This was, you know, I really needed this because of course I cannot pick up, you know, heavy loads with my rear axle locked. That's never good. And I'm just driving back on my tracks in the snow. I was somewhere here. All right, engine off because it's not even warm yet, right? Anyway, so now let's find the printer. The printer and my socks here and the paperwork. The paperwork for the customs. Because we are stepping in the sacred territory, like I mentioned before, I want to put a red line in here. No boots. No unauthorized boots. Sorry about that. We're experiencing technical difficulties. The anchor has to remove the boots before proceeding into the studio. Okay, so that's my my binder with all the documents. So I put my vest in here, my safety vest. I guess I can put this in here. And I use these socks, you know, when I sleep over here. I don't run the engine at night. Actually, I'm gonna put it here. I just want to raise this thing. It keeps bumping me on the head, you know. or this one. How do I open this? Like, I want to open at least one, otherwise it reminds me of... Okay, we have this. No. Ah, that's what it's for. It slides to the side, I guess, like this. I don't know. Well, this one opens. Yeah, I gotta open this one because recently I've been sleeping with all the, you know, all the windows closed because it's so cold. But this is cool, so you know, there's no mosquitoes, right? In the summer. Beautiful. Anyway, so let's find that. Okay, I don't need this. I don't need this. These are all my... By the way, this is a good book for somebody if you want to lose weight. 6-week cure for the middle-aged middle. But actually, I found that it did not work for me. So instead, I'm using a free... Oh, this is cool, you know, to make notes. And I put them... I write like when I do routing on the oversized permit, I write these like my turns and I stick them, you know, probably somewhere here. And I think this is it, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, I might need this glue. And I put everything about my E-log I put over here right above. So this is the if a cop stops me. And this is DOT inspection mode. Is basically for cops. You show it to them so they know how to check your logs, you know. So I put all this important stuff is above my head. But I think this is the one I was looking for. This is the major. Yeah, that's my pars and my pass. Beautiful. So border crossing paperwork, check. Because I need these stickers, right? Oh, and empty envelopes. I use these for, you know, for trips. Like each trip, my invoice, my bill of lading, and then I write my bill of lading number. And that's what you saw in my Mustang. Now what is this? This is something not really important. Okay, so oh, here I got my old business cards. Yeah, these were like this, right, with that big RT thing. I can still use them, but now I'm using these that I ordered with my Sergei DRATCHEV heavy haul. And so my business cards are here. And again, I love how, you know, this storage over here. So this is my safety glasses, my radio. I think I checked it once actually. We're gonna do last thing we're gonna do a check of the radio. Okay, these what is this? These are some kind of pants. This is already too late for this. Okay, so these are useful. Sometimes, you know, you put them somewhere here. I'll sew them later. Okay, this is, well, that's my old cable. Okay, more pants. That's from my computer. More pants. And there we go. My mom gave me this because that's the Russian saint, which has who has my name. And she says make sure you have one in your truck and in your car. So So now this is gonna be here, even though I'm not a very religious type, but they say this brings you, you know, this kind of like protection. That's all the stuff I'm gonna... Oh, finally! That's what this thing was. I was looking for this everywhere, you know, when I went to Florida, because I wanted to do a video, try a video with my D500 camera, and now everything is sold, and I found this microphone. This is a really cool external mic, you know, so it improves the audio. Oh, I have nothing, so that I don't lose it again. I'm gonna put it here again. You see, another pocket that I actually even forgot about. Like here I got all my certificates, like and there we go. Wait a second, so this is also very important. That's my so this is my headset. Usually I put it like this, and this is the charger for this. And too bad on the back of the seats there's no pockets, because that's where I usually kept this. I kept it in the back of the pocket, so I always know where it is. But okay, we'll put it over here. So that's my headset, that's my charger for the headset. Actually, I don't need this. Okay, more socks. I don't really like this, you know, like white, it just gets dirty so fast. And that's the main thing I was looking for. And I was afraid I would lose cables, but no. That's my charger cable. Works from 12 volts, and that's my cable. Even though this thing has Bluetooth, but I never trust. I tried it a couple of times. It didn't work. So I'm gonna sort this out later. For now, I just wanted to find it. And what else we have here? Okay, this one, I don't know if this one works. This can be useful too, because I only have one USB cable. But I remember in the Mac this stopped working, so I'm gonna put it there. I'm gonna test it later. This is for the coming spring, if I happen to be in deep woods. I don't know where to put it. Again, we're gonna figure it out later. This is another cable from my Dell. Oh, this one is useful. No, actually I was looking for this. I'm thinking of attaching, this is for the GoPro, because I have the frame, you know, but this one is really cool to give you guys a view, you know, when I'm driving. So because this is going to be my permanent truck, right? So I can just stick it somewhere like this. And right now the GoPro is on my head. I'm gonna find a good position where it can stick, you know, so that I can do some cool video when driving. Okay, that's my extra cartridge for the printer. And also there's a spare one like this. I think there was a flat one somewhere as well, because this does not seem to be very... Let me see, it's not exactly curved. I think I had somewhere a flat one too. Okay, this is it. So the major goal for today is accomplished. We'll figure the rest later, because I'm just following the huge, you know, huge to-do list on my computer. But yeah, this is good. Actually, I was even thinking of doing this in my car, you know, so that it's always mounted, and all I gotta do is just disconnect the GoPro from my head, let's say, and put it on the... So I'm gonna leave it here for now. And this is it. So printer, paperwork, kind of getting ready. The axle is unlocked. Very cool. So I think I'm making progress. So hopefully Monday I will have my look at this guy. This guy is always coming in here. and he flips around this Kenworth with I don't know, 7.5, 8-inch pipes, right? Mad Express. And so this guy has a 4-axle I don't know what kind of trailer is this, and he just flips it around and then he goes over there and he drops the trailer for some reason. Each day he drops the trailer right in front of the yard. And this is the guy I'm always scared of, because this guy, his spot is all the way here, and my truck is long. I actually even asked the owner of the property, I said, is there any other spots? Because these guys come in late at night and they always back at an angle and I'm on his blind side, you know. And she said, that's 401 over there. And she said, I might have a spot for you, she said, next to containers in front of the white trailer, you know. But again, for me now it'll be tricky for me. Like this way I flip like this when I come in, that's the entrance over there. I flip like this and then I back, right? So this way, you know, it's a very sharp angle, and I'd have to do like this, or maybe wait, I can do like this, but it's kind of awkward, you know, to back in there, even though, because of all these containers, even though when I just started renting place in here, my first parking was right there at the fence, and then she started moving everybody. She gave this to container guys, and now we all scooped in here. But now I think this guy is used to my truck, because it's been here over a week and he didn't hit me once. But it's, you know, it's a bit crowded, so. But anyway, so this is mounted, right? So like I said, I think I'm making progress. Yeah, and I think I'll just get rid of this clock, right? Because I don't really need it, you know, like what I'm gonna do with this. So that's my scale over there, and that's my scale ticket. And turns out just once it's not enough. They wanted to scale as well when you're fully loaded, because I guess that does the final adjustment. So and plus that scale ticket, because I could not unlock my last axle, I only used my 2 last axles, you know. So anyway, so I was, you know, it was so cold today at night, so I woke up at like 5 o'clock in the morning and I couldn't sleep, and that's what I was thinking about. How do I use this gauge, you know, because they said it does not measure your pusher axle. So basically you have to scale the truck with the pusher axle up, and then you write down, let's say, your gross weight and your axle weights, and then you put the pusher down and you will see the weight reduce, and that's, you know, how much went on the pusher axle. And I was thinking, wait a second, what if I have like 100,000 pounds on the deck, and what am I supposed to scale myself with the pusher up? It's gonna overload the drive axles, you know, it's gonna overload the steer axle. But that's the problem with these gauges, you know, they cannot measure suspension. They cannot measure weight in the suspension that's not controlled automatically, you know. Like my gauge only has 2 inputs, 2 air inputs. So the way I set it up, so one is from the drive axles and one is from the trailer. And again, the trailer, if the flip is down, it's gonna be 1 axle group, but again, it's, I don't know, like I'll have to figure out, you know, because this is my first time with this gauge. I'll just have to figure out how to use it, but I hope it's gonna be useful. That I spent 750 bucks Canadian on the parts and 500 on the install. I hope it was not the money wasted. Anyway, so this was the next exciting episode of Kenworth Heavy. So I'm sorry for giving you this parked status videos, but you know, something is happening. As you can see, the activity is going on. Captain Sergei is not resting on his laurels. I'm getting ready. Oh, and one last thing I wanted to mention is that now I start my day by looking at the load board, mostly to click ignore offers on premium membership. because I got some basic membership which works fine for me, but these guys just, of course, they're not happy that I'm paying a very small fee. Oh, why don't you upgrade, you know, and see your loads without 60 seconds delay? You're gonna increase your revenue. I'm like, okay. If I do heavy haul, like, how often do these loads disappear? And it's not like I'm booking drive-in loads, right? So, but anyway, so I go to the load board, and I keep, now I'm in, I know what's happening with the freight, both outbound and inbound from Canada. And I talked to a couple of guys already. Some guy had the load to Montana, and there was no price posted, and I kind of like cracked a joke. I said, because I see that load, it was on the board for like 2 weeks, you know, like RGN load, and it's 2,000 miles. You know, Montana, like basically you end up in the middle of nowhere, right? And then of course you get a deadhead, probably like 1,000 miles, you know, for me as a Canadian, to find a load back to Ontario or Quebec. And so I cracked a joke. I sent him an email. I said, what kind of rates are you offering? Is it kind of a drive-in rate? And I put a smiley, you know, at the end. And this guy was not happy about this. Oh, if you want to crack jokes, if you just want to sit on the board and crack jokes. I said, well, I see this load for 2 weeks in a row and there's no price. Like, to me that means it's exactly the same load, exactly the same dimensions, the weight. And this guy says, oh, I got a few of these. It just, you know, the factory is finishing them up. But basically it turns out it was a legitimate load. But I don't know, it's just Montana, it's too far, you know. I want to stay close because that's where the money is. The money is, the shorter you stay to home, the better. And plus you get paid much quicker, right? So let's say I go to Maryland, 500 miles, I can pay the next day, you know. If I go to Montana, I'll be driving for 1 week, right? And then, so by the time I do everything with my factoring company, it's gonna be like 7 days before I see the money. So for now, in order to rebuild my cash flow, I'm gonna start with some short loads. But again, so thank you for your patience. Thank you everybody for watching my videos. Just please keep your shirt on. We're gonna start trucking next week, okay? Take care. Stay warm. At least if you're somewhere close to my geographic location. It's still snow on the ground over here. See? Ciao. Пока.